this man is a warden. This is a father. It looked like a prison. So I said to myself, I just couldn't control myself, and I had a terrific outburst. As a 12-year-old kid, I said to my father, look, this is not for me, and maybe it's for you, and it's for the rest of the family, it's for everybody but me. I don't need this. I can't take it. And I was choking and screaming, and I said, that's it. And my father gave me a shot. Like you never saw in your life. And I said, that's not a bad punch. This man is no... But I thought that was the end of it. That was just the beginning. After that, he started belting me and hitting me over and over again 100 times. Now, you know what it is when a healthy adult is belting a 12-year-old kid from pillar to post all over the room. I said to myself, is this an insane asylum? This man was a rabbi only a couple of minutes ago.
What did your father say to you while he was beating you?
He said, you'll never get away with this. You'll never be anything but a rabbi, and no matter which way you turn, I'll never accept this, and you'll son, he was calling me names I never heard from a rabbi before. And he became turbulent and violent and completely out of control, because it suddenly hit him that the possibility of a revolution here, that he might have one son that might actually not become a rabbi.
This is like the jazz singer, the same sort of thing.
He literally went berserk. I think if my father was out of control at that time to such an extent that if he had a gun, he would have shot me right away. I was lucky that there was a gun control law in that neighborhood. But he would have done anything to wipe me out.
But this didn't stop you.
And didn't, just the opposite. Isn't that amazing? That's a great lesson to parents who think that they should get violent with a kid to make him do what they please. Because even when you're 2, if you are so emotionally determined to do something else, all the parents in the world and all the sticks and stones is not going to stop you if you have an emotional problem about it and if you can't really accept it. And they have to find ways to influence a child without that kind of violence, because the only thing that did is turn me around upside down in the opposite direction. From that minute on, I knew I'd never be a rabbi.
Similar, my father didn't beat me, but my father would always say, you can't live like this, you can't be an actor, get a serious man's job, you know, and obviously he was right?
Well, I think so far you're a big mistake, I think.
When you first started doing comedy, though, in the Catskills, you weren't really hired as a comedian, though. You're hired as a social director? What does that mean?
I was hired as a social director. All the new comedians that you know who are over the age of about 40 or 45,
like
all
who?
of them. All of them, whether it
Buddy Hackett,
Jerry Lewis, Buddy Hackett, he should rest in peace, Danny Kaye, all those comedians from that era, John Murray, everybody was once a social director. That's how they started out. In the mountains, in the Catskills, there used to be about 300 hotels. All of them had 200-300 people. And it was mostly poor Jews who, in those years, were not making much of a living, and they had to find some way to get some kind of a vacation during the summer, and they all went to the Catskills. And the Catskills was dominated by social directors, because they couldn't afford shows. To bring in a show would cost a lot of money. It would mean you need professional actors. To find a social director means you find some guy who's unemployed, who has no place to go and nothing to do, and he's looking for a job as a social director.
What do you do as a social director?
Same type of a guy usually would become a used car salesman or a TV announcer.
Are you like a Jewish Kathy Lee Crosby, going in the morning, in the evening, ain't we got fun? What does a social director do?
They used to call him a tumler. A tumler is a guy who makes a lot of noise and finds ways to entertain the people all day long, because there's nothing else to do. Here a guy is 53 years old, he's sitting in a hotel in the mountains. Now the boss comes over to you and says, it's your job as a social director to entertain these people, keep them busy all day long, make them imagine there's something going on. Because there's nothing going on there. It's a lot of shrubbery with a lot of elderly people sitting like this. And everybody is sitting around waiting for something to happen. Now, whoops, they wake up the social director, go to work. Now your job is to keep these people entertained and happy. So they give you ideas of what to do. You're supposed to, for instance, start calisthenics 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, which old Jew wants to do calisthenics? Nobody really feels like doing calisthenics, but your job is to announce it and get them to do it. They hate you for waking them up. And they don't want you to bother them. They got up to sit. The boss told you to do calisthenics, to give them an activity. If they don't hear this,